going to be testing out and installing an all new product a lot of you are going to love. And then we're also going to my first ever Cars and Coffee with the Rubicon 392. As many of you guys know, here recently I've been extremely interested in finding out new ways to carry long rifles in my Jeep. Now, it's not as easy of a task as I thought it would be originally, but luckily I've found some pretty cool companies that make some really unique solutions to make it as easy as possible. A lot of you will remember this previous install where we were able to mount up two different long guns in the back, which worked really well, but wasn't exactly as accessible as I wanted. So in the effort to find a more convenient solution for something I could actually grab from the driver's seat, I came up with this idea right here, but it's just not as secure as I would like. But luckily, with phenomenal timing, a company called Maker Off-Road actually came up with a new solution for this, and they wanted me to try it out. So what they've sent out is pretty cool. It's actually a MOLLE panel for the back of your seat, and you can see how it's supposed to mount up right there. And it comes with the actual mounts for your gun. It also comes with some additional straps, but it's supposed to be a pretty straightforward install. I'm really just wanting to see what all it comes with. So obviously we've got a gun mount right here, and we're gonna have two of those. Then we've got some extra straps and some screws. And then for the main parts, we've got some metal pieces for a MOLLE panel. And as you can tell, whenever you put these two together, it's gonna be like that right there to mount on the back of your seat. So first, let's just get this thing put together. Then we're going to use our two short straps right here. We're going to install both of those on the top right here. And keep in mind, you want to put these short straps on the one up top. And how you tell it's the top is because on the bottom, you've actually got two holes here on the side, which is where we're going to put our long straps at later. But for now, we're going to have these right here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom, but we'll use our longer straps and we'll attach them to the side holes rather than using them on the bottom. Now, with certain mounting solutions and certain vehicles, it may work easier to mount it to the bottom if you're going to strap it to something else, but I think for the Jeep, it'll be best to mount it right here. Although this setup wasn't too great, it does work if you need it in a pinch, but I'm going to be so happy to have a new setup in here. And now to mount this up on the top right here, I believe what we need to do is just wrap this part around the actual headrest itself. And for the bottom here, I'm actually going to use the anchors for the seat and mount it around that way. I'm sure you could lap it around where the actual crease of the seat is, but I think this will be a lot more clean look, and obviously it'll stay out of the way a little bit better. And now we've actually got it all mounted up. But now I'm going to check and see what position it'll be better to mount these guns up, because what I want is I want to be able to run a gun like this with just a 7.5-inch barrel, pretty much all AR platforms, up to a 10.5-inch barrel, then up to a 16-inch barrel. So probably I'll need to, it looks like I'll have the room, but I'll need to space these correctly. So the way these mount up is pretty simple. All you need to do is find a spot that you like right here on these lines, and you'll be able to actually bolt it in. You've got bolts and nuts that are going to go on the back side. So this should be really, really straightforward. So I think for now, I'm going to mount it along the lines of right here. For this one, it should be the absolute easiest to mount up securely because it's the shortest. So now let's see if it's actually accessible from the driver's seat. Obviously, I can get my hand on it here, but without moving this seat, the easiest way is to lay back the driver's seat. And obviously, the more secure you have these, the tougher it's going to be to actually get it undone. So keep in mind, would you rather it be more secure or more accessible? But whenever you pull that off, you've got your rifle right there and you're ready to go. So now let's try with this 10.5-inch AR. Obviously a little bit different size. I think it'll be interesting to see if it fits as easily because, you know, with more size on a back seat, it's got to be a little bit harder to mount up. And this one mounts up just fine as well. That's pretty darn secure. That's not going anywhere, that's for sure. Now for the standard length rifle. Yep, it fits perfect. Now, I will say anything more than a 16-inch is probably going to touch the ground here, at least the way I have this mounted. You could flip it around and you'll probably be able to clear up to a 20, maybe a 22-inch barrel. So that is something to keep in mind. But for mounting it the way I have mine mounted, a 16-inch barrel is probably going to be the longest you're going to be able to put back here, at least comfortably. So for my final solution, this is what I've come up with. I moved this part down one slot just so I could get my fore end above it, so I've got one extra point to actually hold it a little bit tighter, and you can tell it's extremely tight. And instead of using the side points and wrapping it around the seat, I found an anchor point under the seat, so I used these bottom ones and made it a little bit more rigid. That way the passenger doesn't have to worry about a strap sitting behind them. Now with the way that we've got it mounted, we've actually got a lot of extra room for whatever else that we'd want to attach, and we've got extra straps for that as well. I'm super grateful that Maker Off-Road decided to send that out so we could test it out and review it. If you guys are interested, there is a link down in the description. It'll take you right to them. And they've got a bunch of other cool products that you guys will like for Jeeps, and hopefully we'll get to test some of those out soon. You guys will remember my friend with the C7 Grand Sport, and we go to a lot of these events together in terms of like the import alliances and stuff like that. So we're going to be heading to Nashville Super Speedway right now. Well, we just wrapped up with the car show. It is absolutely freezing outside. The temperature is about 30 degrees, and a lot of the cars had left before I even got here, but there were still some really cool cars here. It was a really cool experience. I'm definitely happy I did it. If you guys haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until then, Godspeed.